So welcome you guys to your free flow practice. Starting in a comfortable seat. If cross-legged seat feels kind of funky or your knees feel really high up, you can always take blocks underneath your knees to support you, or you can sit up onto a pillow or a block. You could always uncross the legs and just have one ankle in front, or if it's really, really uncomfortable, you can always take the legs long, or you can butterfly the legs. Okay, so just finding a comfortable place to be seated on your mat. I find if the hip creases are getting really just kind of finicky or really loud, sitting up onto a block or bolster is just going to lessen that degree, that angle of your crease, so it can be a little bit nicer. All right, so just start to roll your shoulders a couple of times so that you can begin to settle into this shape. Close down your eyes. And then starting from the base of your spine, so you might even just wiggle around a little bit so you can feel those two bones that are pressing into the ground, so your sits bones. We're gonna start there. So allow this area to become really, really heavy. It's like you're sinking your entire weight into the mat. You might even notice that your spine starts to round as we just kind of sink in, and that's okay for a moment because we're gonna begin to reset that. Now feel like you're stacking your vertebra one at a time from your sits bone. So you're gonna start to bring your awareness to move up your spine, and as you do so, take a full breath in and feel like you're lifting and rising out of any of that curvature of your spine. And then as you exhale, root through the sits bones, send your shoulders down your back. And you're just gonna slowly continue with this. Inhales to lift up, your sternum might lift. And then exhales to feel a little bit heavier, but also to come into a place of relaxation. Okay, let's just take a couple more breaths just like that. So your inhales, almost like someone has a string attached to the crown of your head and they're pulling you up to lengthen the spine. And then exhale, there's a softness to the joints, but you're keeping that stacking of bones, so that there's this element of opposites here. So just continue to follow your breath. As you feel into the lightness of the inhale, the lift, and then the heaviness and the grounding of the exhale. There's a little bit of that effort as you inhale, that you're using your muscles to keep you tall and stacked. And your exhale is almost a softness, like you're just melting into that shape. And now imagine your breath moving through your body, so almost as though you could visualize it. Allowing it to pour all the way down into your belly, filling up towards the top of your lungs, and then exhaling out completely, feeling that energy move down as you let go. Let's take 3 more breaths just like that. Almost imagining your body as an empty vessel that you're pouring air in and out of. One more full breath in. And long exhale, breath out. Okay. Take your chin down towards your chest. Allow your chin to rest heavy, but still keep that length through the back of the spine. You're just gonna start to take little circles with your head, little half circles, sorry. So we'll begin to pour one ear over to that shoulder, and then you'll come down through center and other ear over. Okay, so let this be really gentle. You're just slowly beginning to wake up your body, starting with the head and neck, feeling this pendulum motion, but there's no stickiness or force. Just nice and smooth, finding some fluidity. Let's take one more half circle to each side. And you'll come all the way back down through center, and you can just slowly lift your gaze to neutral. Okay, if you are in cross-legged, lean back, untangle your legs, and then switch the cross of your legs. So it's gonna feel a little bit sticky, it's gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. That's actually what we're going for, is to get out of these habits or patterns of the body. All right, inhale breath, reach your arms out and up, gaze can follow. And then as you exhale, interlace your fingers, bring your hands down like you're pushing air down, and then land them onto your heart. Okay, close your eyes for a moment and just begin to set an intention. So feeling the beat of your heart beneath your palms. Choose what you want to bring into your practice and ultimately what you want to bring into your day. And this intention is going to be your anchor. So when you're feeling off balance, overwhelmed, you're starting to get lost in thought or emotion, is just to come back to this word or maybe phrase. It could be a statement like, I am light, I am love, I am trust, I am learning. Or it could just be a word, joy, peace, understanding. So that this practice can become whatever you need it to be, no matter the physical poses, no matter the sequencing, even no matter what I'm speaking to, that you can always find your intention in the weaving through the practice, in those little pauses and little spaces where you just take that for yourself. All right, gently release the grip of your hands. Let's take a big circle of the arms. Inhale, breath, reach out and up. Then exhale, hands come back through heart center. Okay, two more just like that. Inhale, like you're gathering what you need around you. And as you exhale, landing it to your heart center. Let's take one more just like that. Inhale, reach as far as you can, maybe gaze lifts. And exhale through heart center. And changing it up a little bit. Inhale, breath, reach out and up. As you exhale, twist over to your right. Let your left hand land onto your right thigh, and then walk your right fingertips back. You're still keeping that tall spine. So if you notice they're starting to crumple forward, zip your shoulder blades together, belly button to spine, and then lengthen through the crown of your head. All right. Instead of having your right fingertips down, begin to reach your right fingertips back behind you. So this is going to give you a big stretch through the inner line of the arm. Imagine that you're reaching for something that's back behind you, but you can't quite touch it yet. So you're continually lengthening. On your next inhale breath, begin to take your right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Unravel from your twist, so shoulders square to the front, and then pour over to the left. Left hand is going to stay on your right knee. So even if you're in this shape with the legs, you can still be here. The left arm is kind of stopping you from crunching fully over to the side. So think about lengthening both sides of the spine. Really let your right hip draw heavy towards the ground. So we're not tipping over, that we're rooted and steady. Okay, slowly begin to bring your right hand over towards your right knee. You might crawl forward for a moment. And now you've crisscrossed your arms and you're coming back to a neutral. Gently release your left hand, coming into that twist. Begin to extend your left fingertips back behind you. And for the first one, they might just land on the ground for a moment so that you can make sure you have that tall spine. Right hand is rooted and strong. And then when you're ready, instead of hand down, you'll begin to extend your fingertips back behind you. And you can add in that twist of the cervical spine if you want to bring your gaze towards your left thumb. Continue to draw your belly button into your spine. So your core is always engaged throughout the practice. There really shouldn't be a moment where the core is just soft, that we're always feeling that support. Okay. And coming into your lateral flexion, As you inhale, begin to draw your left hand up, turn to face the front of your mat, and then as you exhale, pouring over to the right. Okay, left fingertips reaching, but checking with your left shoulder. It's soft away from your ear. Gaze can even come down if you want to lengthen through the side of the neck. Okay, we're going to move through this a few more times, but it's going to be done with breath. So slowly bring your left hand down towards your right knee. All right, inhale, breath, lift up tall, and then exhale, begin to twist. Reach your right hand back. Take a full breath in, a long breath out. Okay, inhale, reach right hand up to the ceiling and pour over as you exhale to the left. Take a full breath in, a long breath out, and slowly bring your hand down onto your left knee. Inhale, stand or sit tall. Exhale to twist. Left fingertips reach back. Hold for a breath. And then as you inhale, left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, pour over. Okay, hold for one breath. And then as you exhale, left hand comes onto your right knee. Okay, inhale, stand tall. And exhale, just pause. Okay, we're gonna take that just a little bit faster. This time, one breath per movement. All right, inhale, breath, lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist to your right. Right hand reaches back. Inhale, lift up towards the ceiling. Exhale, pour over to the left. Inhale, take your hand down onto your knee. Grow tall through the spine. Exhale, twist the other side. Left hand reaches back. Inhale, breath. Lift left fingertips up. And then exhale, pour over to the right. Use your inhale to bring your left hand onto your right knee. Lift up through the sternum. Okay, one more time. Twist open to the right. Your exhale breath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pour over to the left. Lateral flexion. Inhale, take your hand down. Tall spine. Exhale to twist. Inhale, breath, lift left fingertips up. And then exhale, pour over to the left. Okay, inhale, breath, left hand comes onto your thigh and you grow tall. And then exhale, you can untangle your arms and begin to walk your hands forward and fold. Okay, just allow your spine to drape. Don't worry about getting your forehead to the ground. Just allowing your spine some space to just simply be without having to use those muscles of the back body to hold you in the twist or in the lateral flexion. See if you can tuck your chin in towards your chest. As you inhale, expand into the space between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, let your chest rest heavier towards the ground. Okay, one more full breath in. And long exhale, breath out. Okay, walk your hands back up and towards your body. Walk your hands back as you untangle your legs, plant your feet wide, and then just gently wash your hips or your knees left and right. So just rinsing out the hip joints. All right, let's meet into tabletop. So you'll scoop your feet out to either side, facing the front of your mat. Spread your fingertips out wide. You can have toes tucked or untucked. Use your inhale breath to draw the belly down. Open through the heart, gaze ahead. As you exhale, tuck your chin to chest, pull up through the belly button, pressing into the ground, separate your shoulders. All right, inhale breath, drop the belly, gaze lifts, tailbone lifts. Exhale, curl and round in. Find a little bit more lift. All right, let's take two more just like that. Inhale, breath. Let the front line of the body open. And exhale, contract into that front line to open up through the back line. And one more breath just like that. Inhale to expand. And exhale to curl and round in. And coming all the way back through to tabletop. Making sure your fingertips are spread wide. If this feels like a lot for your wrist, you can always walk your hands one handprint forward so that you're lessening that angle of the wrist. Similar to sitting on a bolster for the hips. Extend your right heel back behind you and check in with what happened with your belly button and low back. So if you're dipping into the low back, core is probably not engaged. So zip belly button up to spine, squeeze through the glute to lift your right heel higher. All right, now begin to send your left fingertips forward, left thumb points up towards the ceiling. If this feels like too much, take your left hand down. Otherwise, gonna activate the core a little bit more. Begin to move to the diagonal. Left fingertips towards the left corner of your mat, right heel towards the right corner of your mat. Okay, this is where we're gonna want to give up with the core and just sink into the spine. So see if you can press into the earth, slight lift out of the shoulders, belly button stays up towards the spine. Beautiful. All right, inhale, breath, come back through center. Exhale, release your left hand down. Three-legged dog, tuck your left toes. Begin to hover your left knee, and as you straighten into your left leg, right foot comes up. Okay, bend into your right knee, stack into your hips, equal weight through your hands. As you inhale, come up high onto the ball of your left foot. As you exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down, monkey lunge. Inhale, take your arms all the way up. Okay, press through that front foot to shift some weight back. Feel like someone's tucking your tailbone under and pressing your left hip forward. Okay, interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders up and down. Inhale, breath. Feel like you're lifting through the sternum, knuckles drawing to the ground. Exhale, let yourself sink a little bit more. Okay, one more breath in. Feel like you're lifting up, growing taller. And then exhale to ground. And then release your hands. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, low runner's lunge. Keep your left hand either rooted on the ground or you can grab a block or a prop. As you inhale, reach your right fingertips all the way up. As you exhale, circle the right arm back and down. Inhale, breath, reach your right fingertips forward and up. And exhale, reach back and down. Okay, let's take one more circle just like that. Half the circle is your inhale. And then half the circle is your exhale. Okay, let's pause reaching up to the top. So next time your fingertips graze up to the ceiling, pause, reach back behind you, swirl open the chest as though someone's coming behind you and beginning to rotate your rib cage. And then exhale, release your right hand down, bend into your back knee and spring to the top of your mat to fold. All right, feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath. Reach your arms all the way up. And then exhale, gather your hands through heart center. Inhale, breath, reach up. Exhale, sweep your right arm underneath your left. So eagling your arms. You can reach for opposite shoulders, backs of hands. You can hook your thumbs or reach for palms. Okay, feet are wide, so they're at least hip width distance. On an inhale breath, begin to float the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Gaze comes up, squeeze the glutes. As you exhale, bend into your knees and curl and round like you're taking your elbows to your knees or to your belly button. Inhale, breath, stand tall, squeeze the glutes, lift up. Exhale, curl and round. So focus on the movement of the spine. One more time, inhale, breath, extend tall. Exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, belly button to spine, core engaged. This time, inhale, reach up. As you exhale, unwind your arms and swan dive forward. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold, plant your hands. Okay, hovering tabletop. Step your feet, not fully to the back of your mat, a little bit shorter of a stance than you would for a high plank. And then bend your knees and slowly begin to hover your knees down. You can always walk your feet in closer or wider. Keep your fingertips spread far apart from one another. Draw your belly button into your spine and then slowly lower your knees down. Inhale, breath, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale to cat, curl and round through the spine. Let's just take one more like that. Inhale, breath, belly is heavy, tailbone is light. And exhale, press into the ground, round through the spine. Come back to neutral. This time, begin to extend your left heel back behind you. I find tucking the right toes helps a little bit with balance, but you can always press the top of your right foot into the mat as well. Once you feel balanced here, core is active, so as you float your right hand, nothing else moves. So your spine is really long, gaze is down, so make sure you're not gazing forward and cranking through the back of the neck. And now begin to open up to diagonal, or if you really want to challenge, you can open up to the horizontal. Feel some of that shakiness, feel how your left hand is shifting to hold you here. And let that be a reminder that you don't have to be strong and holding this and just gripping, but that this is always a little bit fluid. So see if you can squeeze your left glute a little bit more, lift your right thumb. Belly button draws in towards the ceiling. All right, inhale, breath, come back through center. Exhale, take your right hand down. Tuck your right toes, three-legged dog. Float your right knee off your mat. Left foot comes high up towards the ceiling. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hips. Peel your side body open. Inhale, breath, lift up high onto the ball of your right foot. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Drop your back knee down, monkey lunge. Inhale, take the arms up. Similar to earlier, where you're feeling into those opposites or the duality of the practice, can you feel the energy of the inhale? You're reaching through your shoulder or through your fingertips. As you exhale, there's a softness through the shoulder as a relaxation. Okay. On your next exhale breath, unwind your arms behind your back and then interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders up and down. 3 full breaths in this shape. Can you draw your inner thighs together? Squeeze into your glutes. Draw your hands in the opposite direction than your heart is lifting. And then gently release your hands down to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Right hand stays rooted down. Inhale, breath, take your left fingertips all the way up. Exhale, left hand reaches back and down. Gaze can always follow. Inhale, reach forward and up. Okay, 2 more circles. Exhale to bring fingertips down. Inhale to reach forward and up. Don't be afraid to really reach, so you're getting to that inner line of the arm. Okay. Last one, as you draw all the way up, you'll pause, then begin to pivot open through the rib cage. Left hand might even reach back behind you. Gaze might come up. Squeeze inner thighs so the hips stay square to the front. Exhale, left hand comes down. Step to a fold at the top of your mat. Spring off your back toes and let that go. All right, you can reach for opposite elbows. Taking a little pause here. Shake your head yes or no. Maybe revisiting your intention that you set at the start of your practice. You can sway the body. Just allowing your upper body to be completely weightless. Feeling some of that decompression of the spine as gravity draws the crown of your head down and there's a lift from the hips. And I always like to think of forward folds as an opportunity to let whatever we've been holding on our shoulders to just roll off our back. Any heaviness, any weight, any worry to just slowly slide off and allow us a little bit more freedom as we move through this practice. All right. Gently release the grip that you have with your hands. Take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Reach the crown of your head forward. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Stand tall. Exhale, gather your hands through heart center. Inhale breath, reach up. Make sure your feet are hip width distance. Exhale, eagle arms. Left side this time. Left elbow under right. Wind up your arms. Draw your forearms away from your face. Standing tall, lift the kneecaps, engage the glutes, so legs are really strong here. Inhale, reach fingertips up, gaze might follow. Exhale, bend into the knees, draw your elbows towards your belly button, chin tucks to chest. Inhale, breath, lift up tall. Exhale, curl and round in. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, stand tall, and exhale to round the spine. Okay, inhale, breath, reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Unwind the arms, forward fold. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step your toes back, high plank. Shoulders stack over top of your wrists. All right, lower your left knee down. Pivot open to the right for a modified side plank. Right fingertips are gonna reach all the way up. Okay, and then reach your right fingertips over to the front. So there's a long line from right hand to planted right foot. Continue this motion. So you're gonna come back into your high plank. Right hand plants, left toe step back. Lower your right knee, other side. Pivot open to the left. Reach your left hand up, forward, and then continue to reach your left hand down. Step back to your plank. Okay, let's do that a couple more times. Lower your left knee and then take a circle this time. Right hand reaches back, up, and forward. Step back to high plank. Lower your right knee. Reach your left hand back and up, and then forward. Okay, we're gonna take this 2 more times. Optional, you can lower your knees or you can move to a side plank. Roll to the pinky side edge of your feet. Reach your right hand back, up, and forward. Meet back to your high plank, belly button to spine. Roll to the pinky side edge of your right foot. Press into the ground to lift the hips as you circle the arm. Okay, 1 more to each side, yogi's choice, whether one of your knees is dropped or they're both lifted. Nice, you guys. I know this isn't necessarily the easiest, but making sure that you're breathing through this. All right, let's come all the way back to plank. You can lower from your toes or from your knees, but before you do that, inhale, breath, shift forward, shoulders towards fingertips. Exhale, let's lower all the way down. Okay, my absolute favorite shoulder opener. Release the tops of your feet and then take your hands wide off your mat. Okay, so elbows are gonna point up to the ceiling. Make sure your hands are wider than your elbows. So you almost create an M shape with your arms. Inhale, breath, peel yourself away from your mat. Gaze will come up last. As you exhale, roll your right shoulder forward, right cheek towards the ground, look to the left. Okay. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. Exhale, other side, left shoulder dips forward, left cheek to the ground. Let's take 2 more to each side. So your inhales lift you away from the earth. Exhales dip you towards the earth, knowing you don't have to go all the way down. Just until you feel that soft opening, and then you'll lift out of that and find the other side. See if you can move with the flow of your breath. So that's your breath that's guiding you into these shapes, rather than the breath trailing behind and trying to catch up. Okay, once you finish that last one, looking over to the right, you'll come all the way back up through center and release back down. All right, take your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, lift your knees. Optional, you can use your knees to help you to come into high plank, or try to lift your chest and your hip bones at the same time. So spreading your fingertips wide, squeeze elbows to the side of your body. Inhale, breath, lift up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Okay, take your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, sweep your right toes all the way up. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hips. Inhale, breath, come up high into the ball of your left foot. Exhale, step through, right foot lands. Drop your back knee. Inhale, breath, sweep your fingertips all the way up, low lunge. Exhale, take your hands down. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Inhale, reach your right fingertips all the way up. This time changing, pause. Lighten the load on your left hand, so you might just come up onto a couple of fingertips. Optional, this feels like too much, just drop your back knee in this shape. You're gonna slowly lift your left hand to hover, draw your belly button into your spine, and then continue to lift all the way up to stack shoulders over hips. If your back knee is hovered, it's just gonna look like this, or not hovered, lowered. Okay, squeeze into the glutes. Feel like someone's pulling a string from the back of your left kneecap. If you want to make this more challenging, bring your gaze towards your right fingertips. Nice. All right, sweep your right hand down and up, face the front, crescent lunge. Exhale, breath, open up, warrior 2. Make sure your front knee is pointing towards the pinky side edge of that front foot, so that your front knee isn't falling inwards. You always want to make sure your bones are aligning, so knee with toe, knee with ankle. Flip your front palm to face up. As you inhale, keep your legs exactly as they are and just reach your right fingertips skyward. Left hand slides down your back leg. On your exhale, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Step back, high plank. Okay, flowing through Vinyasa, I'm going to teach from the knees for the first round. Optional to take this from the toes. So lowering onto your knees, you're in a modified plank. Inhale, breath shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way down. Okay, inhale to baby cobra, squeeze shoulder blades. Lift the chest as you press into the tops of the feet. Exhale, release back down. Press up through tabletop, tucking your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a long exhale, breath out. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, left foot glides high. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hips, three-legged dog. Inhale, breath, lift high onto the ball of your right foot. Exhale, step your left foot through. Okay, drop your back knee down. Just one breath. Inhale in your monkey lunge, lift up. Exhale, hands meet your mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Inhale, spiral open, left fingertips towards the ceiling, and then pause. Squeeze your inner thighs together. This is gonna help with balance. Slowly begin to lessen the weight into your right hand. Maybe you even float your right hand off of your mat. Now imagine someone's pulling you up from your left wrist. So it's a lift first, and then begin to stack your shoulders over top of your hips. Okay, you can always have a slight bend in the back knee if you're feeling this into the lower back. To engage the glutes, feel like someone's pulling you from that back knee, and that's going to engage the hamstrings and the back body. You want to make this more challenging. Take your gaze towards your left thumb. Make sure that you're still breathing. And then on your next inhale breath, the left hand sweeps down and up, face the front. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Okay, soft through the shoulders. You can even have a soft bend through the elbows, but let the lower body be really, really strong. Left knee guides towards your pinky toe edge. Your back foot is rooted, so if the pinky edge wants to lift up, try to press down. Gaze follows your front middle finger. All right, just one breath to flesh this out. Flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, lift left fingertips all the way up. And then exhale, windmill down. Step back, high plank. Okay, optional, take the same variation you did the last time if the knees were dropped. If you want to keep knees lifted, inhale, breath shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, untuck the toes. Knees are lifted. Squeeze the glutes. Exhale, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. You take a full breath in. A long exhale, breath out. One more breath in. And exhale, let that go. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, draw your right toes all the way up. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hips. Exhale, breath, right foot plants between your hands. Drop your back knee down. Inhale, lift up, monkey lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee. Inhale, twist open. Okay, exhales to prepare you. We've been here before. This time, inhale, breath lifts you up. Shoulders over hips. Full breath in. Optional, drop your right hand onto your back leg and lift your left fingertips up for just a breath. All right. Sweep your right hand down and up, crescent lunge. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Okay. This time, take your hands together so they're in a prayer over your head, and then wrap your left hand around your right wrist or around your right forearm, and then use your left hand to begin to pull yourself back, but you're still keeping that length through both sides. And if you want to work into the core, squeeze your glutes. Feel a lift of your rib cage away from your hip bone. All right. Straighten into your front leg. See if you can find a little bit more of that reach. And then inhale, breath. Keep the legs straight, but lift up through center and take your arms pointing to the front and backs of the room. If this stance is wide for triangle, just heel toe your back foot in a little bit closer. Kick your hips back. Reach forward through your right fingertips, and then begin to rotate. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up. So you want to imagine, I always like to think of being in between, or you're the bread in the toaster. So you don't want to burn any part of that bread. So if your bum is sticking out behind you, you're going to have a burnt bum. So squeeze your glutes, send your hips forward, open up through the shoulders, arms even coming into maybe a 180-degree angle. Okay, you want to make this more challenging. Those of you that requested core, maybe you take the shape of an L, right hand reaching forward. You want to make this even more challenging. Take your left fingertips to reach forward. Almost like you're holding a giant pizza or a giant beach ball. Okay. On your next inhale breath, let's lift all the way up. Exhale, bend into your front knee, warrior two. A little bit different this time, high runner's lunge. So back to one of our previous poses. Turn onto your back toes. So your heel is gonna lift, left fingertips sweep down and up, and now all 10 toes face the front. Nice, you guys. Take your hands through heart center. Inhale, breath, shift forward, reach the crown of your head towards the front of the room. Exhale, twist. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. This can also be done with the knee dropped, so no, that's always optional. Press into your hands. Think about peeling your belly away from your thighs. If you want to play with flying the arms, you can reach right hand up, left hand down, half bind, right hand behind your back. If you're coming to that full bind, left arm wraps underneath your front thigh. Okay, whew, getting spicy. If you've taken a bind or you've separated the arms, you'll gently bring the arms back to heart center. Gaze down at your right big toe. Find some buoyancy into the back knee. So similar to before, but now we've just added that twist. This time you're stepping big toes to touch into a chair shape. Okay, so check in with your knees. Left knee likes to slide forward here, so pull it back in line with the right. Inhale, breath, bring your hands through heart center. Exhale, forward fold, let that go. You can always heel toe your feet a little bit wider. Let's take a couple of recovery breaths here. And just allowing the body to drape, soft bend into the knees. Okay. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Okay, let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, breath, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Last one. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms tall. Exhale, hands through heart center. Okay. Inhale, breath, reach up. Exhale, eagle arms. Right arm underneath your left. Winding up your arms. This time we're actually coming into eagle. So you can heel toe your big toes together to touch. Sit back into that chair where you just were. And begin to lift up your left heel. Left knee picks up and stacks over top of your right. So now you're gonna wind your legs up as well. You can always use your left toes as a kickstand to hold you, or you can keep it lifted, squeeze in. You might even wrap it behind your right calf. Okay, instead of trying to go into so much depth, squeeze to the inner line of the body. So you're drawing your arms tighter, inner thighs, letting go of any gap between the body. All right. Similar to when we drew elbows to belly button earlier, you're gonna take that same shape, keep the legs as they are just for a moment. So you're hinging forward, engaging the core, slowly unwind the legs, send your left heel back behind you, step back to a high lunge. Don't worry, no warrior 3 yet. Inhale, breath, reach the arms up. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper into that front knee. Inhale, breath, unwind the arms, reach up. Exhale, open up, warrior 2. All right, we've been here before. Flip your front palm to face up. This time, straighten into your front leg. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior 2. Okay, we're gonna flush that out 2 more times. Inhale, breath, straighten into your front leg. Right hand up, left hand down your back leg. Exhale, warrior 2. Last one, inhale, breath, reach all the way up. Exhale, extended side angle. So from warrior 2, take your front forearm onto your thigh, and then you can sweep your left fingertips down and over. Roll the pinky finger towards the ground. So instead of waiting for a high five, you're beginning to turn your palm slightly in. Okay, optional, you can play with binds. Left hand behind your back, right hand reaching underneath your front thigh if you'd like. We're gonna hold for about 3 more breaths. If you wanna play with birds of paradise, no, that's always optional. You can extend this arm down or reach over. Okay, last 2 breaths. Soften through the shoulders as you feel the effort of this pose. 1 more breath. Okay. Inhale, breath, lift all the way up to warrior two. Exhale, straighten into your front leg, bend into your back knee, Skandasana. Take your hips down, right toes begin to point up. Okay. Walk your left fingertips out, and then as you inhale, reach your right hand all the way up. So taking this nice big stretch across the inner line of the body. Gaze might come up, or you can keep gaze wherever is comfortable. Okay, optional to always take the hips a little bit higher if that feels too much for the knee. And then let's shift forward, low runner's lunge. Walk your hands along the edge of your mat. Turn all 10 toes to face the front, almost done. Plant into your hands. Inhale, breath, sweep your right toes up and back. Bend into your knees, stack into your hips. As you exhale, take your right knee to your right elbow, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, breath, sweep up and back. Exhale, right knee to your left elbow. This time hold, extend your right foot out, falling star. Okay, now you can stay here, both hands down. You can take your left hand up. You can even float your right foot off of your mat if you'd like. Okay, one more breath. Release your left hand down. Inhale, three-legged dog, right toes come all the way up. And then exhale, release your right toes back down. Pedal this out, let that go. Take a couple of deep breaths, resetting the body for the other side. Okay. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, left toes draw all the way up. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hips. Exhale, left foot steps through. Drop your back knee. Inhale, breath, reach the fingertips all the way up. Exhale, take your hands down to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Inhale, twist open. Left fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Exhale to set up for your lift. On your inhale, stack shoulders over top of your hips. And then exhale to just soften. Optional for your next breath to slide left hand down your back leg and right fingertips all the way up. All right, sweep your left fingertips down and up, face the front. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Okay. Take your palms together overhead, and then reach your right hand to wrap around your left forearm or left wrist. Keep that deep bend into your knee, and then lift up and just begin to pull slightly back. So you'll notice if I actually come into the one with my hand down my back leg, it looks like I have a lot more depth, but I'm actually not engaged in the core at all. I'm just dumping into the joints. So here, there's a little bit more of that core engagement, soft through the shoulders. See if you can lengthen through the right side of your body. Okay. And now straighten into your front leg and maybe reach a little bit taller, a little bit more space. Okay. Inhale, breath, come all the way back up through center. Arms reach to the front and back of your mat. You can always heel toe that back foot in a little bit closer if you have a really wide stance. Kick your hips back, reach for your left fingertips, triangle. Left hand comes down, right fingertips reach up. Okay. Check in with your alignment, making sure there's a soft bend into both knees so you're not locking out the joints, aka pushing the kneecap back, that the muscles are engaged when the joints aren't locked. If the joints are locked, often the muscles aren't fully engaged. Okay, you can take that L shape, you can reach both hands over. You're here for about 2 more breaths, so choose whatever your body is craving. All right. On your next inhale breath, you'll lift all the way back up. Exhale, bend into your front knee, warrior two. So it's a little bit of a shorter stance. Perhaps that's actually good for your next transition. Right hand's gonna sweep down and up as you pivot on your back toes. Right heel is lifted. Beautiful. Hands to heart center. Take a full breath in. Exhale, hinge forward. So you're now taking your head and back heel in one line. You can even take another inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Okay, you can always drop the back knee in this shape. Press the hands together to get a little bit more twist through the rib cage rather than the hips. So your hips are gonna stay square to the front, and then it's the ribs moving. If you're worried your hips are moving, squeeze inner thighs. Optional, you're taking the fly of the arms. You can play with a half bind or full bind. Just a couple more breaths to be in this shape. Use your exhale to cool your body. All right, bring your hands back to heart center. Look down at your left big toe. Begin to spring off of your right toes to step right toes to meet your left. Sink your hips down. Pressing into the hands, lift the belly away from the thighs. Inhale, hands come back through heart center. Exhale to fold. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider. Okay, adding in a bit of movement. Take a deep bend into your knees. Left hand plants into the center of your mat or left forearm onto your bent left leg. As you inhale, kick your right hip out, right leg straightens, add in a twist. As you exhale, you'll come back through center. Either right forearm onto thigh or right hand down. Inhale, kick your left hip out, straightening through the leg, twist. Let's take one more to each side. Exhale, reset through center. Inhale to twist. Exhale through center. And inhale to twist. And exhale, come all the way back down. All right, inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And then exhale, take your hands through heart center. Inhale, breath, reach up. Exhale, eagle arms, other side. Left arm sweeps underneath your right. Okay, big toes together to touch. Sink your hips down like you're sitting into a chair. And then transfer that weight into your left foot. Right knee this time picks up and over. Okay, find something in the distance that's not moving. You're gonna have your arms in the way, but look past your forearms. Maybe you even sink your hips a little bit lower, or you squeeze your legs a little bit tighter. Okay, gently take your elbows in towards your knees. Untangle your legs, step your right toes all the way back, and then inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. All right, inhale, unwind the arms, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, warrior two. Okay, flip your front palm, fleshing out that front leg. Inhale, straighten into your front leg, reach your left hand up, right hand slides down. Exhale, warrior two, bend into your left knee, press through the palms. Inhale, breath, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, bend back into the front knee. Okay, last one. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, extended side angle. Left forearm to your thigh, right fingertips sweep over. Now there's so many different variations of this. Try the same variation you did on the other side, whether it's a bind or your left fingertips extend forward. Just make sure core is engaged here. So you're not just putting all your weight onto your forearm, kind of like I'm doing, that you have less weight into that forearm. So your obliques, the side core is actually holding you up, and then belly button stays in towards your spine. Okay, one more breath wherever you are. Unwind your bind. Inhale, breath, lift up to warrior two. Exhale, straighten into your front leg, Skandasana. Bend into your back knee as you drive your left heel into the ground. Optional to take this up higher. Either way, right hand walks out or right forearm onto thigh if you're higher, and then left fingertips reach up. So you should feel some release into that front hip. That's done a whole lot of work. And then there's a softness through the upper body. See if you can even close your eyes and just pause here in space. Gently release your left hand down. Walk along the edge of your mat to turn to the front. Low runner's lunge. Last little bit, press into your hands, three-legged dog. Left toes sweep up and back. Exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow, shoulders over wrists, belly button to spine. Inhale, sweep up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to your right elbow, falling start, extend out the foot, turn your back foot and plant it, and then reach your right hand up. Maybe you float your left foot off of your mat. Maybe you just lift the hips, maybe you bind. Wherever you are, can you just simply decide to breathe? Take that big inhale, let go on the exhale. One more breath in, and then exhale, take your right hand down. Inhale, three-legged dog, and exhale, step your left toes to meet your right. All right, let's take a vinyasa to flesh this out. Inhale, breath, shift forward, rolling through the spine, high plank. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, untuck the toes, open through the heart, and then exhale to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a long exhale breath out. All right, looking forward, step or hop your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Okay, last little bit. Inhale, breath, reach up. Exhale, right elbow sweeps underneath left. So eagling the arms. Sit back into your chair. Lift up your left knee. So you're on the right leg. We've been here before. So try to find a spot, once again, the distance that isn't moving. Let your gaze come towards that spot. Hinging forward, you'll slowly bring your elbows to your knees. Now find the same spot on the ground. Untangle your legs. This time, instead of stepping back to your high lunge, warrior 3 variation. Left heel pulls back. Fingertips draw forward. Now warrior 3, we can feel like we put a lot of it into the glutes. Can you focus on the core? Feel like you're wearing a corset that's wrapping from your spine all the way to your belly button. Everything drawing in really, really tight. All right, you guys. Slowly, slowly, slowly step left toes back, high lunge. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take your hands down, frame your front foot. 3-legged dog. Inhale, right toes reach all the way up. Exhale, half pigeon. Take your right knee to your right wrist. Right ankle to the left side of your mat. Untuck your back toes. Slide your left foot back and then walk your hands up. Okay, this should feel nice after that last little pose. You can stay upright or you're welcome to just begin to hinge forward and fold over top of your right leg. So if you can take a couple of deep breaths, slow down the heart rate, start to refuel. We just have that one pose left on the other side. So try to soften your body. Give yourself as much space as you can to just be in this moment. Okay. Gently, you begin to walk your hands all the way back up towards your body. A little bit different than stepping back to down dog. Tuck your back toes. You're going to come into a crooked fold. As you press into your hands, lift your hips up and then plant your right foot. So your feet are going to probably be pretty wide. Step your left foot. I always like to think just about a foot behind the right, but your legs are going to be crisscrossed. So you don't need pinky toes together. Pinky toes can actually be quite far. And then hands can come down onto the ground or onto a block. Instead of rounding through the spine, draw your collarbones forward towards the top of your mat. Squeeze your inner thighs, maybe even pulling your right hip back behind you. Okay, now this one's really nice for the shin muscles, which I find is really hard to actually release. Pick up all 5 of your right toes and then roll to the pinky side edge of that foot. So instead of your foot being planted, it's going to be rolled over to the edge and the sole of your foot is lifted. Okay. And then you can gently release your right foot back down. Step your big toes together to touch and just make your way to the top of your mat if you're somewhere in the middle there. All right, inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Okay, last little bit. Take a full breath in. Long breath out. Let that all go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, left arm sweeps underneath, right. Eagling your arms. Sink your hips back. Weight comes into your left foot as your right knee picks up and over top. Squeeze into the inner line of the body. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. So you should get a nice opening through the tops of the shoulders and traps. You begin to draw your elbows towards your knees, hinging forward, but the core is engaged. Slowly untangle your legs. Press through your right heel like you're pushing into a wall behind you. Right toes point down. Squeeze into the glutes. Maybe you send the fingertips a little bit further forward. All right. Slowly, 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 slowly begin to step back, bending into your standing leg. Lift all the way up. Exhale, take your hands down. Three-legged dog. Sweep your left foot up and back. As you exhale, left knee to your left wrist, left ankle to the right side of your mat. Drop your back knee and tuck your back toes. Okay, half pigeon. Now is the time to just completely unwind, whether you want to stay upright and get more into the hip flexors, or you're folding and you're going to get more into your left glute. Okay, soften through the eyes. You've done so much work with stability, with strength. Now you can just find a place to rest. This is your balance for your practice, to give yourself those moments of rest. We're really good at giving ourselves those moments of work to push through some of the challenges, to continue going even when it feels hard or tough. But I think so often once we've met one accomplishment, we don't take the time to celebrate, to really allow ourselves to decompress, to reset, and to get clear. And so even in your practice, just to take those little breaths, those little pauses, to celebrate what you've accomplished, what your body has shown you in strength and courage and tenacity, and to, for just a second, allow that to be enough, to not need more, to not have to go further, but to just be fully immersed in gratitude. Walk your hands back up and towards your body. Last little bit, crooked fold. Tuck your right toes. As you press into your hands and your right foot, hips lift up and left foot plants. Slide your right foot up. There's no right or wrong. So it could be really far out to the side. It could be tucked in a little bit closer. I just find if your feet are a little bit wider, you have more stability for getting into that front shin. Okay. Lengthen through the spine, so feel like there's a magnet from your collarbones towards the ground. Squeeze your inner thighs together. And then if you did so on the other side, pick up all 5 of your left toes and roll to the pinky side edge of that foot to get into the shin. Into, I think those are peroneals. And you soften through the back of the head and neck. All right. Gently release the sole of your foot back down. Step your big toes together to touch, meet at the top of your mat. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Step your toes back, high plank. Lower onto your knees. And then slowly just begin to make your way onto your back. Okay. So you can take your knees into your chest, just give yourself a nice big hug. I'm gonna leave this last little bit of practice up to each of you. So it might feel nice to come into a happy baby and just create a little bit of movement. You might be craving a twist. So start, if you are doing twist, lower your knees over to the right. So you'll pick up your hips to the left. You might just want to extend out tall. We're really lucky today because we ran out of time for eagle crunches. I'll stay on after if anybody wants to know what those are. Okay, so these next maybe 5 to 8 breaths are yours, just to unwind your body in a way that feels good. Okay. I think taking this last little bit of practice with choice is really, really important, that we start to recognize that we are in control of our practice and what we need. And especially being at home, that you have so much time and space to kind of close off with poses, with movement that makes you feel really nourished. Okay. And so there's absolutely no rush to come to Shavasana. You can take as much time as you need. And as you're either laying in Shavasana or you're shifting there, I just want to share a poem of hope. So hope comes from heartache, and it grows like the lone sapling from the ashes of loss. And it carves its way out of the heart of tragedy and its heavy cost. And it rises like a soldier thought lost, returning home to his mother. And it smiles like the calm, clear sky, following weeks of one storm after another. And maybe this is why, when Pandora opened the box that carried such calamities, which inflicted all of mankind, gentle hope emerged from it too. What else helps us overcome suffering, if not by giving hope a chance to bloom? So as you move through the rest of your day, I hope that you come back to that intention, that you find hope even when it feels like a lot. Hope that this is always shifting and always changing, that you're always growing and you won't always feel this way. And that sometimes we just have to come back to the solidity of the breath, to gather our intention like a blanket wrapped tightly around us, and just sit in hope even when the world feels really dark. To remember that light is always and always will find a way to seep through the cracks. I'm just going to leave you here in Shavasana for just a moment. And allow your eyes to close and soften. Listen for the sounds of your breath. Know that right here, right now, you are supported. You are safe. You don't have to borrow fear for the future or worry from the past. That in this moment you have your breath, and perhaps that's enough. Your breath moving is that reminder that you are growing, that things are shifting, and that you might not see it breath by breath, but at a point in the future you'll look back and see how everything changed. And it's often those little things that make the biggest of difference. And so perhaps you just allow yourself to see hope in the smallest of places, in the new bloom of flowers, in the rise of the sun, hope in this next breath that you take. I'll leave you here in Shavasana so you can take as much time as you need to come out of your practice, just slowly waking up your body, knowing that there's no rush, and truly so much love, so much gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Namaste.